So if you originally tuned into this channel for this 1974 Duster build, don't worry, we will be getting right back to it. I will be working on it concurrently with the project car here, 1968 Mustang coupe. Both cars are getting painted, so I'm going to be jumping back and forth between the two of them. We're going to be doing a full paint job on this one. I'm going to go around the car a little bit, show you what we have to work with. It's actually not too bad. It's in pretty good shape. There's Lucy Lou, shop dog here. And just your typical dings and dents, nothing major, no big issues. Just sand it all down, prime it, paint it. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna title this series or not, but we're gonna have a whole series on this car. I don't know if it's just gonna be how to paint your Mustang at home or what, but we'll figure that out as I start posting these videos. But it's definitely gonna be a part one of many. So I'm gonna go over some of the basic steps. I'm not gonna show you every single little detail. This isn't, this isn't a substitute for formal training at a trade school or whatnot, but for you DIYers, hopefully to give you a lot of pointers on what to consider, what to think about, and what you might be getting yourself into when you're working on an old car. So that's kind of what this whole channel is about. So this is not going to be a 700-point MCA judged show car or anything like that. It's just going to be a really nice daily driver. So the first thing you do, well, there's lots of first things, is kind of have a game plan, what you're doing, so you're not, doing things over, spending good money after bad, and get a plan together. So that's first and foremost. Figure out what your end result is going to be. Just try to stay within your budget, be realistic about it. Is it a judged show car? Is it just a daily driver? Or are we going to leave it ratty? It's really up to you. And it's really popular nowadays with all the patina and just kind of ratty paint jobs and whatnot. But, this one's going to be just a nice cruiser, nice driver. You can see the owner's already put a bunch of sound deadener matting in there. So that should make it really nice when you're cruising around. Some of the things you want to do is, check each panel out. Check for flatness, check for prior repairs. Now this car just came in today. I haven't really done anything with it yet. So I'm gonna go over it again. I kind of went over it when I originally bid the job. I'm gonna go over it again. You can see he started grinding on this already. There's a whole bunch of mud work, prior repairs and damage in here. So that's pretty deep too. We'll see how bad it is once we start grinding all this off. I'm going to take this whole thing down to metal. But when you're planning this out, take it panel by panel, see what it needs. Is it good enough to save and fix and make it work? Or do we need to replace it? For instance, this fender here, there's the original fender off the car. This is a replacement one here, this red one. The original fender on this car was pretty hammered, and it was just made more sense just to replace the fender, than try to fix what he had on there. Got the headlight buckets, got other parts in the car, but most of it's all in pretty decent shape for its age. Something more Bondo going on here. Trunk lid looks pretty sharp. Rear body panel looks good. You can see he's got a new rear valance on there. Lines up halfway decent. This panel needs some attention here. This door actually isn't too bad. And then we've got a brand new hood for it. Roof's not too bad. There's a few little whoops in it. A couple little, not sure what over here, a little dent here. But we'll go over it. Like I said, I'm going to strip every panel down one by one, down to bare metal, and then hit it with epoxy primer. But that's part of the planning, you know, figure out what you can save, what needs to be replaced, and is it cost effective to save it, or is it, you know, especially with a car like this, everything's available out of a catalog or on the internet there, so you can just order a new whatever you want, whole car practically. So just kind of figure out what you have to work with, what you need, and then put that all in your budget to figure out where to go from there. So one of the things you want to do first is, after you decided to pull the trigger and move forward with a full repaint project like this, is disassembly. So you want to disassemble the car as much as possible, so that way you don't have things like this where you have overspray on your chrome. Like whatever knucklehead started doing this one, you can see overspray all over the belt moldings, on the trim here. So it's just kind of a mess. You also, when you're sanding, I haven't done anything with this yet either, other than the engine bay. Started a little bit, but you want to make sure you detrim everything so you don't get scratches all over your moldings from your sander. I mean, you may tell yourself, oh, I'm going to be real careful and avoid it, but inadvertently it just gets away from you and you hit it, or you hit your glass, and you don't want to do that. So you can tape it off, but a lot of times the sander will just eat through the tape. So we have all the moldings off of here already. We do need to remove the handle and the lock and the mirror. The mirror's already gone. I just took the handle and the lock off of the other door, and I'll show you how this one comes apart as well. The quarter moldings, trim pieces come off, are already off. Side marker lights are already off. I'll be pulling this off, pulling the deck lid out, gas cap, I mean everything. You want to get even the channels in here, you want to take all that out so you can get paint all the way up in there. The more you can take apart, the better the paint job will look. You know, I've seen a lot of repaints that car looks good from 20 feet away, but you get up close and you see a paint tape edge right along here because they taped this off and the tape got onto here and they didn't catch it, and they're just doing a quick respray job, and it just looks cheap. That's the big thing, is if you don't, the more you take apart, the less cheap your paint job looks. I mean, even if it's a cheap paint job, the more you could take apart yourself before you get it over to the painter, or if you're doing it yourself, the more you could take apart yourself, saves you money, and you get a better paint job. So we were going back and forth debating on whether to leave the glass in here or not. I prefer to take, like I said, take care of as much as you can out and apart. So these are oftentimes real complicated or really intimidating to take these apart and get them back together and have them line up right. I've done enough of these Mustangs where it's not too big of a trouble for me. You just have to have patience and know where the adjustments are, so that way it goes in the right position. That way, and also the glass will go up and down easy. So like I said, we were debating on whether to leave the glass in or not. I'm definitely going to take this out, which means I might as well take this out. Now this right here, I have this little quarter window. I have enough room. I can kind of sneak in there and just tape that off, and put some paper down there and deal with that. But I went to go roll this one down over here, and there was a loud pop when rolling this down, and the darn glass about fell all the way down, so I caught it. So it is completely off half the track anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and take them out, since this one's already off the track and needs to be put back together anyway. So all the glass is coming out. I'm going to leave the windshield and the rear glass, because it doesn't have to come out. I mean, I like to have them out when I paint the car. That way I can get all the way up in there into the channel. If you have any rust issues in here at all, you absolutely want to take the glass out so you can address that. This is actually a very clean car as far as rust goes, so I'm not too concerned about it. But the other issue with leaving it in here is you can have like dirt and gunk in here that can blow out onto your paint while you're painting it. So you got to make sure you clean it as best you can before you start blowing some color on it. So like I said earlier about making a list of everything you might need, sometimes you run into things you don't realize until you start working on it. And a lot of times it's just better to change it now than down the road after you have everything put together. So on this door here, the regulator, this one's actually been replaced. I can see the brand on there, Pro. So, and it works nice. No issues there. You can see he's already got it all greased up, ready to go. No concerns. However, the door handle, it is loosey-goosey. So I'm going to make a recommendation to the vehicle owner to go ahead and get a new one of these on order. Because it'd be better to change it now than after he's got the trim panel and everything in place, and having to take it all apart again. Let's go check the other side. This side is actually, it's okay. I mean, the passenger side obviously doesn't get used nearly as much as the driver's side. It's just loose on the shaft. The shaft itself seems okay. And that rolls up super nice and easy. So we got to make sure that after we take it apart and put it back together, it rolls up and down just as easy. So when you're working on your project car, especially if it is all up and running, you have all the electrical circuits set up and everything's together still, and you have a battery, remember to disconnect the battery. When you have open circuits for like this button right here, it just had the 2 wires sticking out. I went ahead and just pushed them back through the hole because I'm going to be sanding and prepping and painting this area, and then I put electrical tape on them so that way they don't short out against anything. So it's something to think about and remember when you're working on one of these things, so you don't short anything out and let the smoke out of the wires. I'm just going to tape these off so they don't short out into anything. Looks like he's already got tape on a bunch of other stuff, but just to play it safe, I'm going to tape those off as well. And yeah, you can see he's got wiring's all taped off, so that's good. But yeah, it's always a good idea to disconnect the battery, especially if you have dome light. I mean, you're just gonna run the battery dead. Especially with the doors open, everything's apart. So battery's disconnected. We're all set to go. Expect to see more content in the near future. We're gonna go through and repaint the entire car, so I'll try to film and post videos, a lot of how-tos, and basically just kind of what I'm doing in the shop here. So on the previous project, that 67 Camaro you saw, I didn't do a lot of videos on that because it was more of a time crunch, and it takes way longer to get stuff done when you're trying to film and then edit and then get it published and everything. So, and like I said, I will be doing work on the Duster concurrently. So I'll try to be jumping back and forth between the two as far as videos go. But my primary focus is on the Mustang right now. But I do want to get this one done, hopefully for the 2024 duct tape drags in Tucson, Arizona. I don't know if it's going to be this one or the 70, but this one is definitely closer to being built. So the next video is actually going to be probably taking the how to take the glass out of the doors and then the quarter glass as well. So stay tuned for that. If you're a Mustang guy wanting to know how to remove the glass and the vent on the doors, we'll show you all the hidden screws and where the adjustments are, so that way you can put it together correctly and everything line up and roll up and down real nice. So if you have any questions about the process, anything that I went over, anything that I just kind of brushed over and didn't really go into detail about, any questions at all, just go ahead and leave them down in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.